One of President Lincoln's greatest achievement was the creation of the land grants. And out of that land grant tradition came, the obvious Big Ten schools, including Ohio State, but also came Cornell, also came MIT. But for Lincoln, these institutions wouldn't have been created. It was a game changer for the country. And out of it, these great land-grant universities, which are the majority of the large teaching and research institutions in the United States, which are the best in the world, came from the land grants, not from the privates. I think the significance of them is having great institutions of higher education in every state of the Union to make it physically available to people. People didn't have to get on a train and ride days and days to go to the East Coast, which would enable the development of their societies and all good things. The tradition of the land grant begins with very simple things, agriculture and mechanical devices, if you would. How do you get them to be centers of IT, of tech transfer, of advanced medical research, and balance that in a global society that is connected with communication and transportation? But the primary focus is, how do we serve the population of Ohio, let alone the students, but the whole population? That university has that moral responsibility. I think bringing international students to the university makes the university better. It makes our community, our state better. We're a great international university. And it's like, well, yeah, but who's serving that home audience? Who's serving the 13 or 15 million people that live within 200 miles of Ohio State? Who takes care of their physical needs, their educations, their welfare?
The university, tugs at our heart when you live in Columbus. It's so integral to the fabric of life here. How goes the university is how goes the community. Its success is critical to all of us, and that's because of the same notion. Who are you producing? Who are you educating, the sons and daughters of Ohio? And what benefits are you offering to the community? So whether it's healthcare or the arts, it's the source, such a great source of enrichment to all of our lives, to our children's lives. I think of it as service to the university, not expectation necessarily personally from.
If you take that great university out of the state, it's almost unimaginable. It would be prairie. It would be desolate. You couldn't get to the scale of polar research, in the kind of technology that the world is dealing with today. Massive investments in IT. We're in the population center of North America, and if in the population center of North America there wasn't a university, what would be America like? I recognized that I was incredibly fortunate to start a business, to have a career, to grow. And clearly the university and the opportunity, but for Ohio State I wouldn't have gone to college. But for not going to college, I don't think I'd had a business vocabulary to talk to myself about, whether it was accounting or finance or appreciation of arts or architecture.
A thriving university means a thriving Columbus. It's the people we bring here, that create interest in the community. My children who've grown up with it, they grow up as Buckeyes here. I laugh because I remember the first time Les took me to a football game, and I had never been to a Big Ten football game. I don't think I'd ever been to a college game. I thought it was absolute madness that grown people would be dressed up, in ridiculous outfits, doing funny cheers, and
in an orchestra.
And an orchestra, and it was absurd. And the converts are often the most zealous. So 20 years later, I'm as big a fan as anyone, and part of that is appreciating what it's given the kids. Football for us is about home. The university becomes a sense of your home, your place, and so of course we look to make it better.
You go back to President Lincoln's ambition and the notion of building great institutions in every community of the country. The land grants. If we're going to continue to fulfill President Lincoln's ambition in the heartland, in Columbus, shouldn't we have a great hospital? Shouldn't we have a great cancer hospital? Shouldn't we have a great everything? Basketball team and business school. That's part of, I think, the legacy and the ambition into the future. But I quickly recognized I had an obligation, I had a debt that I had to address, a responsibility, because I was the beneficiary of things that people who I'll never know, who invested in that university 100 years ago, and formed it. And 100 years from now, people will look at the university and it will continue, hopefully, to form its life. So it began and is today with a sense of enormous obligation. I got much more than I've given. I think, with bias, that Ohio State is President Lincoln's ambition best fulfilled.